In the first video, we talked about the countries forming the American continent, and today we continue with the countries of Europe. And if you haven't seen the first video, I suggest you go watch it. I'll put the link in the description. Europe. Europe gets its name from Greek mythology, more precisely from a Phoenician princess. One of many theories suggests that its name derives from the ancient Greek words evris, meaning wide, and ops, meaning eyes or face, thus meaning wide face or piercing gaze. Greenland was the name given to it by Viking settlers, meaning Greenland. Legend has it that Erik the Red, after being banished from Iceland for murder, headed northwest. Upon discovering this inhospitable land, he chose to give it a pleasant name to attract new settlers. In Greenlandic, the country is called Kalaallit Nunaat, meaning land of the Kalaallit, an indigenous group of the region whose name means dry skin, in reference to the clothing worn by the Inuit. Iceland comes from the Old Norse is, ice, and land, a name given by a Viking explorer who spotted a fjord in the territory. Ireland in Irish is called Éire, a name that comes from a goddess of the same name in Celtic mythology, and which means fertile place. Scotland comes from the Latin Scoti, a name given by the Romans to the Gaels of Ireland and western Scotland. England is the land of the Angles, a Germanic people who settled there more than 1,000 years ago. The name Portugal comes from the Latin portus cale, which refers to the present-day cities of Porto and Gaia. Portus means port, and the etymology of cale is open to debate. It could come from the Greek callus, beautiful, or the Latin calere, to heat. The name Spain derives from Hispania, the Roman name for the Iberian Peninsula, and several theories exist as to its origin. One of the most widespread is that it comes from the Phoenician, meaning land of the Hyraxes. However, these were actually rabbits, mistaken for African animals. The origin of Andorra is uncertain, and one of the most widespread theories is that it comes from the Andosini, a pre-Roman people of the region. France gets its name from the Franks, a Germanic tribe that settled in the territory of the present-day country. This name derives from the Proto-Germanic francon, meaning javelin or spear, in reference to the axe the Franks threw in combat, the Francisca. By contrast, in Maori, the language of New Zealand, France is called wee woo, an expression often used by French explorers. Wee wee, yes, yes. Monaco gets its name from a Phocaean colony from the 6th century BC, located very close to the country, called Monoikos. This Greek word means isolated house. According to legend, Hercules, wandering through the region and not much liking the local gods, took advantage of a free moment to build himself a humble temple. As it was the only structure in the region, the city was named Monicus. The origin of the name Italy is the subject of many theories, one of the most widespread being that it means bull. The name San Marino comes from Saint Marinus, a stonecutter who, fleeing the Romans from what is now Croatia, built a chapel and monastery there bearing his name. Vatican City gets its name from its location on Vatican Hill. The name Switzerland comes from the Germanic word Schwyz, designating a territory that was part of the old Swiss Confederation. Before the Swabian War in 1499, the Swiss called themselves the Confederation. During the war, the Swabians began calling them Swiss as an insult, and after the war, the Swiss adopted the name. The name Liechtenstein comes from German and means bright stone. The name comes from the House of Liechtenstein, which bought and unified the two counties that make up this small country. Austria is the Latinization of the German name Österreich, which means Eastern Realm. Germany is called Deutschland in German, which means land of the people. Furthermore, the word Germany comes from the Alemanni, a Germanic people of the Roman era, and means all men, referring to the fact that they formed a union of several Germanic tribes. Moreover, the word Germania, used in many languages to refer to the country, as in English, was how the Romans referred to the peoples living east of the Rhine. And as if that weren't enough, Slavic countries use another name, Nemets, meaning mute, in the sense of those who cannot speak like us. Luxembourg comes from the German Lutzel and Berg and means small castle. Belgium gets its name from the Belgae, an ancient people of the region before its conquest by the Romans, who named the province Gallia Belgica. The meaning of Belga, for its part, could be furious. The Netherlands gets its name from the fact that its territory is much flatter than that of its neighbors. Here are the highest points of each nation, and as you can see, the Netherlands is far from all the others in many languages. The word Holland means land of woods. The origin of Denmark is uncertain, but it is probably a combination of Marka and Danesa. Mark refers to the forests of Schleswig, which served as the country's border, and Danish could mean flat, since it suffers from the same problem as the Netherlands. It is, in fact, the third flattest country in Europe after the Vatican and Monaco. The name Norway comes from Old Norse and means northern root. The name Sweden also comes from Old Norse and means our people. Finland is the country of the Finns. Finn could come from what the Germans called a fen, a type of wetland found in the region. However, the Finns themselves call their country Suomi, because in their language, this type of wetland is called suo, not fen. Estonia is called Eesti in its language, a name that derives from the Eesti, a people of the region whose name means east. They received this name because they lived to the east of the Germanic peoples. Latvia is called Latvija in Latvian, and its origin may come from the Latgalians, one of the Baltic tribes who could be considered their ancestors. Lithuania is called Lietuva in the local language, and this name may be linked to the word lieti, meaning to consolidate or unite, referring to the union of the various ethnic tribes that existed in the country. Poland is the land of the Polans, a tribe that inhabited the region and whose name probably means open field. Moreover, Likia was the old name for Poland, derived from Lich, a legendary founder of the Lascites. If you have ever watched the Polish football team Legia Warsaw play, you now know why it is called that. Czech, or the Czech Republic, comes from Czech, a member of the tribes that inhabited the region and who managed to dominate the neighboring tribes. Slovakia and Slovenia have followed different paths, but their origin is the same. This word comes from the Slavs, a people of Eastern Europe, and its meaning is uncertain. It is generally accepted that it derives from the word slovo, meaning word, in the sense of people speaking the same language. This contrasts with the way the Slavs referred to the Germans, mute. Moreover, during the medieval wars, many Slavs were captured and enslaved, which led to the word Slav, or slave, becoming synonymous with an enslaved person. And if you have ever used the word ciao to say goodbye, which, as you know, is an Italian word, it comes from the Venetian expression es ciao vostro, shortened to es ciao, which literally means, I am your slave. The name Hungary comes from a Turkic language and means 10 arrows or 10 tribes. However, in Hungarian, the Hungarians call themselves Magyarország, which means the country of the Magyars, probably derived from the most important ancient tribe of the region, the Magyars. Croatia is the Latinization of its own name, Hrvatska, whose origin remains uncertain but may come from a Slavic tribe of the region. Bosnia and Herzegovina is divided into two parts. The first gets its name from the river Bosna, which means running water. Herzegovina means land of the Herzog, which means duke in German. There are several theories about the origin of the name Serbia, one of which suggests a Proto-Slavic origin meaning alliance. Kosovo means field of blackbirds. The name Montenegro is fairly easy to understand. It comes from Venetian and refers to Mount Lovchen and its dark coniferous forests. Most languages have kept the word Montenegro without translating it, although the inhabitants translated it by calling themselves Crna Gora. Albania refers to a tribe of the region whose history goes back more than 2,500 years and may mean white. However, its inhabitants call themselves Shqipëri, which means land of understanding. Macedonia was an ancient kingdom from about 2,500 years ago, and its name derives from the Greek Makednos, meaning tall in the sense of highlands. Since 2019, the country has changed its name to North Macedonia in order to avoid disputes with Greece over the historical legitimacy of using this name. The name Greece comes from the Latin version of the country, Graeci, which became the international standard. This term derives from the Greek Grikos, perhaps related to Geros, meaning old man. Aristotle was the first to use Greekos to refer to the Greeks, since the Greeks themselves did not use this word. but rather the term Hellas, of uncertain origin. This is why the Greeks are sometimes called Hellenes. Malta could also have Greek origins, since the island was called Melit, meaning honey, probably because of its unique honey production. Cyprus comes from the Latinized version of the Greek Kairos, which could derive from the Greek Kairos, meaning Cyprus. Turkey in its own language is called Turkai, meaning land of the Turks, referring to the ethnic group that came from Asia and settled in the region. Bulgaria gets its name from the Proto-Bulgarians, an extinct tribe that founded the country. Its name could mean to mix, stir, or shake. Romania derives from the Latin Romanus, meaning Roman, from the city of Rome, because it was conquered by the Romans. Moreover, the region was called Dacia in antiquity, which explains the name of the Roman automobile brand Dacia. Moldova gets its name from the river Moldova, probably from the Gothic Uda, meaning mud. Ukraine is of Slavic origin and could mean border or country. Belarus is literally White Russia. There are many theories as to the origin of the term white, but none are conclusive. As for Russia, its origin goes back to the medieval Greek Posia, land of the Rus, the founders of Kievan Rus, which ultimately led to the creation of Russia as a country. The word Rus seems to derive from the Old Norse to row, since rowing was the main means of navigation on the rivers of Eastern Europe. Georgia gets its origin from the Middle Persian Verkhan or Waruchan, which could mean land of the wolves. However, in their language, the Armenians call themselves Sakartvelo, which means the place of the Kartvelians, the last part possibly meaning enclosed place. The origin of the name Armenia is fairly uncertain, but it could come from the Oromo, a small tribe of the region. They also call themselves Hayastan, a name derived from Haik, the legendary founder of the Armenian nation. Azerbaijan means land of Atropates, named after a king who founded a country very close by.